What is resource dependency theory? Well, this concerns how organizational behavior is affected by external resources. We can compare this to the resource-based view of the firm, which focuses on how management manages internal resources and capabilities of the firm, while resource dependency theory focuses on external parties, such as suppliers of resources. So, the premise is this: firms change their external environment to secure access to resources that they need to operate and survive as a business. So a firm's competitiveness in the operating environment is ultimately determined by the way that they deal with or acquire external resources. Now, there are numerous premises associated with resource dependency theory, so we'll go down them one by one. First, organizations respond to demands for resources and the elements in the external environment that control critical resources. Two, they recognize that ultimately resources are going to come from the external environment, so they're going to need to work to secure those. Three, there are other firms out there in the competitive environment that want to secure those same resources, and those resources are often in the hands of other organizations. So, with this being said, there's demand and a finite amount of supply, or at least a path of supply. The possession of resources is a form of power. So, in a way, if organizations each have resources that the other needs, independent organizations ultimately will have to depend on each other and in many ways work together in order to survive for the supply of those resources. So a manufacturer is going to work with or depend upon a supplier. Okay, so power and resources are directly linked as part of this theory. So the power, though, is relational. It is derived primarily from how different organizations are connected or interrelated. It's also situational, as the demands for particular types of resources vary based upon the situation that the organization is facing and the situation in the external environment that's supplying those resources. Think, for example, during the COVID pandemic, there was a reduction in supply of resources that caused hardship on a lot of businesses, and at the same time there was a later result where a lot of businesses demanded less of a given resources both before and after COVID. With this being said, organizations tend to be dependent on each other, so the power association there is also mutual. There is a mutual power going back both ways because of the interdependence. A supplier needs someone to sell their supplies to. A manufacturer needs to purchase those supplies from the supplier. And finally, managers have to understand that they are dependent on resources and the external environment in order to secure those resources. So this external environment, the supply, is its lifeline. They have to manage their resource dependency and manage relationships and things of this nature in order for the firm to be able to not only be profitable, but also to survive in the competitive market. So this is resource dependency theory.